guys, James Wilson-Taylor here for Rocksound. It's another of our video calls, catching up with everybody while we're all stuck at home. Delighted to say from Super Whatevr, Skyler's on the line. How are you, man?
Good, how you doing?
Not too bad, mate, not too bad. Yeah, I can see you're at home, all settled, all nice. How has lockdown kind of been for you so far? How are you coping in this weird time we're in?
Obviously going a little stir crazy, I feel like, as everyone else, but just been making a lot of music. We're pregnant, so making a little life, and that's about it.
I mean, that's going to take up a fair bit of your time. That's okay.
100%. Yeah.
In a weird way, that's something nice to be able to concentrate on. You'd think in a weird time like this, like, oh yeah, at least we've got something that's massive and distracting in our own lives right now. You kind of don't want to be leaving the house, right?
Yeah, it's been definitely a reason not to leave the house, just to stay safe. But it's been a lot of preparing, and it's very surreal. It feels like the best time as a touring musician to have a child, because I have to be home and I have to be around, which is really nice. But it feels like the worst time because the world's just in disarray. So yeah.
So strange, isn't it? Such a strange time. Nice to hear you being able to get a little bit of work done at home as well, though. You've been working on much music. Have you been kind of doing stuff remotely with other guys, or just in your own setup? How's it all working for you?
Yes. So I've been doing a lot of my own writing, but also a lot of collabs, because I realized that everyone else is just sitting on their hands. So a lot of the people that I would have reached out to in the past to no avail are now free. And so I've been doing a lot of collabs with a lot of people that I never thought I'd be able to have a conversation with. Most of them remote. But yeah.
That's interesting. Fun. Any you want to hint at? I know you don't want to give away too many surprises there, but is there any? We'll come on to what we've already heard, of course, shortly. But
yeah, so I've been doing a lot of thinking about what it means to be like an alternative act, and I feel like a lot of people don't have in this scene, or whatever this is called. I hate calling it a scene, but
same.
In whatever this thing is, the scene adjacent artists. I feel like no one really does like collab heavy records. And I was like, I mean, if I have the opportunity, I might as well just like pile it on all of the people that I would just love to work with. And so none of it's like confirmed at this point, but obviously worked with Hoppus, talking to Bishop Briggs, talking to some of the guys in the neighborhood. AWOL Nation is on the table. So yeah, some like really crazy out of this world conversations with some artists. So it's super cool.
That's very cool. The neighborhood in particular, I mean, I love all those artists you just mentioned, but the neighborhood, I've chatted to Jesse a few times in the past, and like, again, he's such a collaborative artist and really loves to work with other people in that way. So that'd be very, very exciting if that came to fruition, for sure.
Yeah. Right now I'm talking to their guitarist, drummer, and auxiliary guitarist. So we'll see what happens. It's more of like starting to make new music with them and see how the process works, and if they end up being on a song, so be it. So that's the farthest reach. But
yeah, sure. Hey, see what happens.
We'll hope for it. Yeah,
you got to shoot your shot, man. You got to shoot your shot all the time. So. Well, I mean, and it paid off. Let's talk, of course, about the track with Hoppus, which fits so well. It's such a good collab, and even just reading the little things you've said about it online and stuff, you're clearly so delighted to have got the chance to work with someone you've clearly looked up to for a long time. Talk to me about that working process with Mark.
Yeah, it was fun. I tweeted in a response to one of his tweets, and I was just like, we should make a song. And he was like, okay, hit my DMs. And then next thing I know, I was driving to get, I went to a matcha bar. I thought I was getting coffee, but we got matcha. And then we went to his house, his little home studio, and made a cool thing. So yeah,
easy as that.
Yeah, it literally just happened. And we were gonna have 2 days. We ended up having one, because the next day his wife planned something for his birthday, and so we had 1 day, and I was like, I need the song to be done, like this has to happen. So I brought half the chorus and just like hell bent on finishing in that day. And a lot of them were rough tracks, rough takes, but we made it work. That was all 1 day's recording.
Wow, wow, wow. It's funny with that
Yeah.
track in particular. It's interesting to see you brought some stuff there, because what strikes me about it when you listen is like, yeah, of course, it still sounds distinctively like, your work in the
Hmm.
past, but you can feel that blink. You can feel like,
Oh,
you've been listening
100%.
to some old school blink and threw it in there. Right. So did you kind of have him earmarked for that track in particular? Like, I'm going to write something that I know would suit his voice so well and suit that style?
Yes. I have like right now I have a song for my collaboration with Bishop Briggs when she is available. I have a song that is for each, like I have a song that I'm like, this is still super whatever, but I want it to be like she brings like a soulful like radio thing. Like, Hoppus, obviously there's like old Blink, but he has that like new LA that has like accepted him into this like that cultural thing. And so I'm like, I want to make a song that fits those elements and just have like, just drivey, add those elements back that were lost in my last record. So I thought it was a good opportunity to not only put guitar back where I had removed guitar in my career, but let Hoppus be the catalyst for that. So yeah.
Very cool. I mean, it's kind of striking that that's something that I feel like in like hip hop and maybe in like dance music, where you see, what, you get those albums where it's like a super producer and he gets everyone on
Hmm.
board and he's like, I wrote this song for Miley Cyrus, Mark Ronson, or
Yeah,
Timbaland or
sure.
whatever. They do that
Yeah,
thing.
totally.
You never really see that in the alt world, and that's really interesting if you're going down that route, because that could be, yeah. Is that the aim? I guess to have a kind of collection, like you said previously, of different vocalists, but beating those styles in that way.
So I don't listen to alt music at all. I listen to like I love marketing and I love watching other people market their product. Like watching Billie Eilish's album release, I was furious about how well she released it. Like play the song at night or play this album at night and see what dreams you have. I'm like, that's cheating. Like you are just raking in the streams. Like I love watching marketing styles and collaboration styles and how people decide to release an album. And so Post Malone was actually a big one where I was like, whoa, Post Malone's top songs are collaboration tracks. Like he has one song per record that is like his big song that's just him, but the songs that get into the billions of plays are like featuring X, Y, and Z. And so looking to him, I'm like, okay, both of them kind of live in that hip hop world, but why can't I glean off of like the release style and the collaboration style? So yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's something that I've spoken with a lot of people who've done these calls with us and talk about writing music, particularly in lockdown. Something that's happening right now, I feel like, especially in bands we cover, is that idea of genre. We've talked for a few years now, like genre's effectively dead. Everyone just keeps,
Sure.
wanting to try loads and loads of new things. I feel like now loads of people have the downtime. They're actually putting their money where their mouth is and going, yeah, I'm going to try things I never would have tried before in that way,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah, makes sense, man.
I think I never thought I'd make it this far. And so I kind of don't care if it works or not. Like I care, I'm having a lot of fun and I would love to do this longer, but I don't have as much like on the table. Like my stakes are so low that because it just happened and I don't know. It's nice that it's becoming a career and I feel very fortunate, but I don't, it just happened so naturally that I'm like, I'm just going to do whatever I want. Like the last record was so different. And there are people who are like, it's so different than your last record. I'm like, I'm not going to like slow my roll because people want guitar music because they found out about my band through Sum 41. Like I don't really pay no mind to those things. I just make music that makes me happy. And if fans are into that, that's great. And if they're not, there are plenty of other bands to listen to, and my old record still exists. So I'm like, I'm going to collab with everyone. If you don't like, these artists, I have other songs and there are other bands, but it's working for me and I'm having a lot of fun. So I'm not going to pay much attention to like what the outside influence is, if that makes sense.
No, that does make sense. Yeah. Nothing to lose in a way. Musically, at least, nothing to lose. You just, try it, see what sticks, see what happens,
Of
man. That makes
course. And
sense.
not
Yeah.
to be rude, like our fans are incredible.
Yeah.
But when people are pushing me to do something, it makes me want to do not that. I'm like, no, I'll do something different. So,
yeah, a very familiar feeling for all of us. I think that one for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
I want to ask you, it's interesting you mentioned the marketing side of that, because that's something I wanted to pick up on really, because you've been very, very interesting stuff you've been putting out in lockdown. Obviously the melancholyism video, I just thought was kind of a stroke of genius, that kind of messing with the idea of everyone doing the same things in lockdown in that way. And then the other flip side of that, I like your TikTok presence, man. That's a sentence we wouldn't have said a few years ago, but I like your TikTok presence. That's some cool stuff on there. Talk to me about getting into that, because I think you're using it in quite an interesting way.
So people kept telling me, like, the comments would be like, your band's blowing up. And I'm like, am I? Like, yeah, my Spotify is growing and I feel like we're growing. I definitely feel like we're growing, but nothing feels like this moment of like, whoa, a lot of people influx all at once. It feels like it's been 3 years of working really hard and meeting a lot of people and shaking a lot of hands and like getting to, like, I still know most of my fans by name. Like, it's not like it's not like an overwhelming thing. So when people say that, it doesn't feel like that. And then I started doing TikTok, and now everything feels insane. Like, I was just having fun with it because the label kept pushing, and I was like, TikTok's so lame, but if it is a marketing tool, I'm all for it, and I can make it my way. I can make it cool. And getting in there, excuse me, no gatekeeping. Everyone's so nice. There's no, because it's so lame to the outside world, everyone is so inclusive there that the moment I made my profile, someone with 300,000 followers followed me that's verified and was like, hey, I love your band. I'm like, wow, no one, like, I have a lot of friends that are smaller bands that I love and take care of and teach and help, and we help each other. There aren't many bigger bands that step into my zone and want to help bigger artists, bigger creatives. And now there's like Mark and people like that, and things are happening, and that's really amazing. But it's like few and far between. On TikTok, there's no separation. It's just everyone wants to create and everyone wants to collab. And so I went from having virtually no friends in the music industry to now I have so many collaboratives and so many creatives that some of them just make wholesome content. Some of them just make funny content. Some of them make music. Some of them, it's just like all the creativity on TikTok is just out there. And so I just started making friends on there. And then a couple of my videos started going off. And now I have, like, I figured out kind of my formula where it's like, I don't just, like, I see some artists that just plug their song over and over and over, and it's like people get sick of it. But I just like having my own little jokes and stuff, and then I'll put my song in there sometimes, and yeah, about to break 70,000 followers in 2 months.
Crazy. It's crazy that how quickly that's grown and everything. And it's funny. We did one of these with Austin from Whatevr a couple of months back, and I was asking him about it as well, because they had one of their songs in particular really, really blew up on TikTok all of a sudden. And what he was saying about it was interesting. He kind of was on the outside looking in, going, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if it's going to work for me, kind of thing. But then he realized, like I think a lot of people have, and yourself in particular, that it's the first social media place in a long time where music is right at the forefront of it. I can't think of that in a long time, like go back to like MySpace or something, really, where music's like one of the key selling points there. Yeah. And I guess you know, for someone like yourself, it must have been kind of interesting finding new ways to present the music in that way, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just fun. And it's fresh, and I don't care what people think outside of it. It's just so much fun. And it's so much easier to build an audience, especially at home. Building just interest is just mindless, and it's a 15 to 1 minute video. I'm not like I'm trying to start my YouTube channel and trying to get that going, because I'm like, okay, TikTok is a rampant free algorithm. I don't have to put money into Facebook ads. I don't have to put money into Instagram ads. I literally just sit here, and if I use the right hashtags, I can grow my band exponentially. I'm not a rich person. Like, that is so enticing. And so there's YouTube, but those videos have to be 10 to 15 minutes long. TikTok, 12 to 14 seconds is like the peak, like, video. I'm like, I'm just going to make 100 a day. Like, and I'm going to come out of this selling out shows, hopefully. So
yeah, I mean, that is the real interesting thing. I think Austin had said, he'd kind of been able to notice that difference because of the timing and everything. But I guess when shows come back, I'm sure you probably have already found online already that there is a new audience in other places apart from TikTok who've been checking you out because of that, right?
3,000 more Spotify followers, 3,000 more Instagram followers. We have a Discord server now, and it has over 500 followers. And then not including the 70,000 followers on TikTok. I pay attention. I keep track because it's just exciting. It's like all in real time.
Yeah.
So
good for you keeping track, man. You've got to do it. I think that's really, really good way to be, especially in these times where we've all got to be remote and figure out things online. That's a very, very smart move. You've got to keep on top of those things. Why not, man? Why not?
Thank you.
Well, I will leave you with this then. I mean, we've obviously talked a little bit about more collabs you want to get done and all that kind of stuff, little bits of writing at home. What else do you want to talk about in terms of what might be coming next? Is there anything kind of particularly in the diary you can kind of point to, or are you just still kind of feeling things out as you go at the minute?
So we didn't have much of an album release for our last release. Came out in February, did one headliner, and then the whole world fell apart. So I was toying with an EP, doing like a collaboration EP. The plan now is to do a record and do collaborations top to bottom, because I want to create that sense of community instead of just, working with the greats and just, letting them pick me up and pull me out. I want to bring some of my friends. So there will be not only collabs from artists that everyone's heard of, but there will be collabs from artists that no one's heard of. There's my friends I believe in and that I've wanted to see grow for a very long time. Incredibly talented people that should have millions of plays that have, tens of thousands. And that's still great, but it just bothers me that more people haven't heard their music. So I'm like, if I'm getting these opportunities, I want to create an environment for the people that I watch work so hard, just like me, and not getting much recognition. I want to take them with me. So you'll see a lot of big names and a lot of fresh names on our next record. And I'm just really excited. If it goes, it goes. And if it doesn't, I'm having a lot of fun, and I have a kid on the way. So I just don't care.
That's a good attitude, man. No, it's a good attitude to have. I respect you for it. Well,
Thank you.
Congrats on what you're doing. I got to say the record from earlier in the year was very cool, but I'm equally as excited to hear what's coming, because it sounds you're revved up for it, and that's always really exciting to see. And all the best to you and your family, man, as well. I'm glad you're staying well and safe in this strange time.
Thank you.
And,
you too.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you in the UK when that's allowed again, and live shows and all that kind of good stuff, man. All right.
Thank you.
Good to chat to you, Sky. I appreciate it.
You too, bud.